Hey friends, how's your week going? I'm here to give you your week 6 update on your exam and to go over a bit of grammar here. So here we go. Let's jump on in. Questions on your Unidad 6 Examen. Numbers 1 through 5 are going to be reading comprehension, so it gives you the paragraph, and then you have to answer the question. 6 through 10 are listening comprehension. So this is where you listen to the audio clip and then gives you 5 different questions on that same audio clip and your response. 11 through 25 are your vocab. So do whatever works for you on those vocab questions. 26 through 33 are the reflexive pronouns. They're pronombres reflexivos. We're going to talk about those in just a second here. They're not that hard. And then 34 through 45 are changing from the present tense to imperative. So it'll give you a whole bunch of different ones, and then it's expecting you to change between tú, usted, vosotros, ustedes, all that kind of good stuff. And then 46 through 50 are culture. So let me share my screen here, and we will hop right into those reflexive pronouns here. All right, so hopping on over reflexive verbs and reflexive pronouns. So hitting both of those at the same time. So this is when you're doing something to yourself, right? So in English, we don't say this as much, but they're really common in Spanish. So for example, I showered every morning. That's a reflexive verb. So me ducho, I'm doing the action to myself. So a lot of times myself is that keyword in English that you can kind of ask yourself, okay, am I doing this action to myself? If so, then I'm going to use the me in front of it because I'm doing it to myself. And we'll compare this down here to, for example, if I say, yo me lavo, I wash myself, right? Versus, yo lavo el perro. So lavo, I'm doing the action here, but to the dog, okay? So the perro is going to be the object versus yo me lavo. I'm doing the action to myself. So this is one of those things, like I said, sometimes it translates, sometimes it doesn't. So let's run through it here and see if it makes sense. Make sure you match your pronouns, okay? So for example, I is the yo. When you use it as a pronoun here, it's going to be me. So you're not going to say, you would say like, yo me lavo or yo me llamo is a really common one, right? The tú form is going to be te, and then the usted form is going to be se. Él or ella is going to be se as well. So métese, nos, os, se. For nosotros, vosotros, or ustedes, ellos, ellas. So here we're going to hop in here. Me lavo, I wash myself. Te lavas, you wash yourself. Te lava. You formal, this is the usted, wash yourself. He washes himself. She washes herself. It washes itself. Se lava. Same thing here, going a little bit faster. Nos lavamos, se lavan, os laváis, or se lavan. So here is a list of verbs here that are commonly used. Me enojo, that's pretty common, or me enojé in the past tense. Me alegro is I'm happy. That doesn't really translate in English very well. I'm happy when I speak Spanish. Or se aburre, me aburro. I get bored in science class, right? A couple differences, and I think you guys talked about this in some of your grammar. For example, I ate the cake. Comí, in Costa Rica we say el cake instead of el pastel. But if you want to say like, I ate the whole darn cake, right? It's going to be me comí el pastel. That's a really common phrase here in Costa Rica. They'll say me comí or me lo comí. And then when you're giving commands, which we're going to study in just a second here, you might say estudialo, study it, or estudiatelo, study it thoroughly. All right. Quickly, let's run through the placement of where these pronouns go. So you can say yo me quito. So the me is going to go in front of the verb quito. When you shave yourself, tú te afeitas. You might say, don't hit yourself, no te pegues. I say that sometimes in my little kids class for my preschoolers and kindergartners. Or sometimes I talk to two people and I'll say, no se peguen, don't hit each other. This one's also super common. No se preocupe, when you're stressed or worried about something and you're talking to a friend, they'll say, no se preocupe or no te preocupes. So last but not least, here are some placements, some more placements. So quítate el sombrero. And a heads up here, whenever you've got a command like this, you, from the end of the verb, you count back, when you got the pronoun at the end here, you count back 1, 2, 3, and that third vowel here, in this case it's an I, is the one that's going to have an accent on it. After a while it'll become like second nature. Same thing here. Estoy duchándome. 1, 2, and 3. So the accent goes over the A. Or it's also valid to say me estoy duchando, which is kind of fun. You can kind of play with Spanish a little bit. I'm going to take a seat. I'm going to sit down. Voy a sentarme, or me voy a sentar. So there's a whole list. They're also under the section on the guion page that I'll add in the link for this video. So quickly here, let's also go through the Spanish imperative mood. So almost done here. The imperative mood is used as a type of command. It's a direct way of telling somebody something. So there's indicative, right, which is a statement. There's subjunctive, which is expressing doubt, desire, wants, wishes. And then there's imperative, which is command. So imperativo is the mood, imperative mood. And then mandatos are commands. So when you see that on the test, you'll know what to expect. So for example, this is a direct way of telling someone, learn Spanish. And we use this all the time in Spanish. Half the time, though, you're not going to realize that it's a command because people will use their tone of voice. So instead of, think like in your head when your mom tells you, like, clean your room, limpia tu cuarto, right? You can also say that in a nice way, limpia tu cuarto, por favor. And then it doesn't sound quite so direct, but people use this all the time in Spanish. So rather than going through the Spanish dict page, this is one place where I'm actually going to go through the guion because it's going to give you a simplified version of what Middlebury is looking for on your exam. So the most direct way to get someone to do something is through command, and this is called the imperative form, right? The imperative mood. So ustedes and ustedes commands. These are pretty easy because you've already studied the subjunctive. So when I was in high school Spanish, my teacher used the jingle, which I think I taught you guys before. Go to the yo form, hablo, go to the yo, take off the o, so then it becomes habla, and then add the opposite ending. So for AR, that's going to be an ER ending. For ER and IR verbs, that's going to be an AR ending. So, excuse me, the yo command, which is not very common. Maybe you're talking to yourself. You might say, hable, talking to yourself, hable. Or I eat, right? Or you're talking to yourself, eat this, or don't eat this, right? Coma. And then live is viva. So same thing when it's going to be ustedes. You go to the yo, hablo, take off the o, hable, and then you add the opposite ending and an N down here. And that makes it ustedes rather than usted. Check out these irregulars. So instead of, so keep an eye out for these. Decir, yo digo. So then it's going to be diga. You just take off the O. So same rule applies, just don't forget to apply the irregular. Or yo me acuesto. I lay down, right? You take off the O on acuesto and you add the E instead of the A. So here are some examples. Escuchen. Your Spanish teacher, if you've ever had a Spanish teacher, might have said this to you. Escuchen, por favor. Hablen, siéntense, digan. So all these are pretty common. And they also want you to know, I thought this was really interesting. I hadn't really heard this before outside of Middlebury. But when you say, escuchen ustedes, por favor, it's considered more formal. But I would say I usually have never heard that. Let's hop into two commands. These are used all the time. They're not that hard. So the way that you conjugate these are that you go to the yo form, right? Yo corro. Or in this case, you can go to the usted el ella form. Might be an easier way to explain this. Let's go to the usted el ella form, and then that's it. But you put like the tú in front of it. So like, tú corre, right? Like corre. Or compra, like compra mi almuerzo, you buy my lunch. Habla, this is a good one to know. Habla más despacio, por favor. So this is when you're talking to someone informally, like they're a friend or a classmate. There's no difference in honor that you're seeking to give to someone. So for example, with the family here, if I'm talking to Jeremy, who you met last week, I might say, habla más despacio, por favor. But if I'm talking to his grandmother, I want to show her honor and respect, so I might say, hable más despacio, por favor. I'm going to use these that form with her. These are the irregular positive two commands. These are just some common ones. Di, as, ve, pon, sal, se, ten, ven. Be careful with this one because se with an accent also means I know. So you might, this is one of those instances where the pronoun might be helpful, right? Tú, sé, when. Be good. Vosotros are fun. They sound kind of funky. You take off the R on the infinitive and you put a D there instead. So for example, instead of niños llevar, to carry, you might say llevar, escribir. That's a fun one. They just take off the R and they add the D and then said. Also, this is not very commonly used, but the vosotros affirmative commands have, excuse me, have, you take off the D and you put on the OS. So it's going to be levantaos. And I'm really bad at pronouncing those. I know them, but I never studied abroad in Spain, so I'm very bad at saying them. Still working on those. If you watch Netflix, like there's a series called The Time in Between is the English title on Netflix. They use a lot of these vosotros conjugations, and it's super interesting to check out. It's a good brush up for me because I haven't had this in a while. And then -2, that doesn't mean it's any less important. For example, here in Costa Rica, we use the vos form, the voseo, which is not used in a ton of other countries. It's also used in Argentina and I want to say Venezuela or one other country. But you make the vos command and vos form by using vosotros. So this was like a lifesaver that I learned this in high school, had never used it since, and then I came here and suddenly had to use it. So let's hop into -tú and vosotros commands. So, for example, no prepares. So this is the same thing where you're going to the yo, taking off the O and adding the opposite ending. Instead of preparar, which is an AR, instead of putting an A on there, preparas, you're going to put an E. No prepares in Spanish. Okay. No me digas eso. Yo digo, right? So you go to the yo form, you take off the O, dig, and you add the AS. That's a pretty common one. No me digas. And then same one with visites mañana. So visites. So visitar, you take off the AR and then you add on the EI. Nosotros commands, comamos, hablemos. So this is the same thing. Go to yo, take off the O, add the opposite ending. For comer, you add the A. For hablar, you add the E. This is a good example of putting all of the pieces together that we have learned. It's not letting me highlight it, so hopefully you can understand where I'm going here. But ponga is from yo pongo, and then this is for nosotros, pongamos los. So los libros de texto, we are putting them in our backpacks. Let's put them in our backpacks. And then he's in the hospital. Let's write him a card. Let us all write him a card. It's a command to us. And last but not least, pronouns that come before a negative command. No me lo digas. No me lo digas. But pronouns come after an affirmative command and will include a written accent, such as dímelo ahora. It's going to sound really weird if you say like me lo di. You can't really say that. So that, my dear friends, is a summary. Woohoo, we made it of all of our grammar, and hopefully that made sense. Email me if you have questions. Good luck on your test this week. And I am big Costa Rican thunderstorm coming in. We're in winter, so it rains every day. But anyway, email me if you have questions, and I'll see you next time. Yeah.